Hey, you should be practicing. Hello, welcome to Nate Creates. I'm Nate. I'm a musician and a composer, and this year I've decided to embark on a journey of hopefully learning and understanding creativity to try to help unlock my full creative potential and get past some areas in my life that have kept me stuck and have prevented me from being as creative as I'd like to be and as fulfilled in my music as I'd like to be. And I've decided, because why not, to share that journey with all of you beautiful people, share the things I'm learning. So hopefully you can benefit and grow in your creativity as well. So today we're going to talk about something that is fundamental and essential to our day-to-day, even moment-to-moment lives, but it's something you probably don't give a lot of thought to. We're going to talk today about the breath. In so many ways, breath is life. We can go a really long time without a lot of the other things that we need to live. We can go our entire lives without any real meaningful human interaction. We can go 30 to 40 days, even as far in modern times as 60, 65 days without food. I don't recommend it. We can go 3 or 4 days without water. But we can only go a few moments, really, without breath. Unless you're David Blaine, and then you can go 12 minutes, and that's a pretty remarkable feat. Getting enough air into our bodies is obviously super essential for just living, right? If we don't breathe, we don't live. But on a deeper level, it's also hugely important for our overall physical health, our mental health, our moods, our stress levels, our energy levels, all of those kinds of things as well. It's so important. But chances are you sitting down? You're doing it wrong. But guess what? I'm here to help. The average human, apparently, studies show, breathes 16 to 20 times a minute. So that's about this pace. Okay, when I do that, it feels a little rushed for me, but not really that rushed. That's 20 times a minute, about 3-second breath cycle. So it takes 3 seconds to take a breath in and a breath out. I bet if you time yourself, you'd be somewhere right in that range in just when you're not thinking about your breathing, right? So think about that 30 or 20 times a minute. And then think about like when you feel stressed, anxious, when you're working hard physically, what that does to the breath, right? It increases that pace, right? You're breathing faster. So what does it feel like when you're doing like 30 to 45 breath cycles a minute? Now that starts to feel a little rushed. And if you do that too long, you'll start to hyperventilate. So don't try it. What would you guess, just think to yourself right now, what would you guess optimal breathing pace is? My guess would be, because this is what I thought, and I've asked a couple people too, that you would say about 10 breath cycles a minute was about optimal. But apparently 5 or 6 breath cycles a minute is what is considered optimal. That's only one cycle every 10 seconds. Can you believe that? Chances are, if you've never done that before, if you don't know the proper way to breathe, that's going to be really hard at first. And if you tried it right now, maybe pause the video, just give it a shot. See, pull out your stopwatch, try a 10-second breath cycle and see how that makes you feel. Chances are it probably feels like you're not getting quite enough air. If you don't know how to breathe properly, that's a super difficult thing, a super difficult pace to maintain. But why is that important? What's the difference between a 3-second breath cycle and a 10-second breath cycle? Well, studies show that the optimal breath is linked to increased energy levels, decreased stress levels, decreased mood swings, and overall increased toxicity resistance and toxicity clearing of the body. Did you know that the breath is the number one way that we get rid of waste from the body? Apparently, we get rid of 75% of our waste through the breath. So if you're not breathing optimally, you're not getting rid of as much waste as you could. So if you don't know how to breathe properly, if you don't know how to breathe from your diaphragm, sound familiar? It's going to be really difficult to maintain that pace at first. So let's talk about that. Luckily for you, my training as a musician, as a wind instrument player specifically, has taught me how to breathe properly from the diaphragm. So let's do a little bit of work on that. I'll show you a little bit about how to do that, and then we'll work on, I'll demonstrate some proper breathing. All right, so let's work on learning how to breathe from our diaphragm. So our diaphragm is a muscle that's located right here above our digestive organs and right below our lungs. And basically its purpose is to increase and decrease the volume of our lungs. So when we breathe in, the idea is that the diaphragm muscle moves down, lets the lungs expand. When we breathe out, the diaphragm muscle pushes up on the bottom of the lungs and helps evacuate the air that we're trying to get rid of. So when we focus on our diaphragm, we're pulling air farther down than you're probably used to. Chances are what you're used to doing is breathing something like this, and I'm going to exaggerate this motion a little bit just to demonstrate, but you're probably doing something kind of along these lines. Notice how my shoulders are moving. So just take a couple normal breaths and see how, if your shoulders are moving, and see if your stomach is expanding or not. If your stomach's not expanding, then you're not breathing with your diaphragm. And if your shoulders are moving, that's showing that you're just breathing into the top part of your lungs. And so you're not really getting enough air. So what we need to do is we need to focus on letting that diaphragm muscle start to move the way it wants to. So the main way to do that is to think, when you breathe in, your stomach should expand. When you breathe out, your stomach should contract. Now, the students that I've taught in the past, for the most part, have trouble with this because we think in breath, we want to suck in. And then when we think out, we want to push out. But we have to kind of do like a teeter-totter thing. So when we're breathing in, let our stomach expand. When we're breathing out, let our stomach contract. We get that teeter-totter motion. Okay, so something that I found is helpful to do, so you can literally just take one of your hands, whatever hand you feel like, and put it on your stomach. When you breathe in, pull out and let your stomach follow your hand. And then when you breathe out, push in. Now you don't have to do quite that much. I'm just exaggerating for the camera. But just keep your hand right there and do those little motions, and then you can breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And now you're breathing with your diaphragm. Now, chances are that's going to make you feel a little bit lightheaded. When you start to get those, especially those exhales that are a little bit more forceful, it can make you feel a little bit lightheaded at first. But if you practice it, that'll go away in time and you'll get used to it. So let's couple that with the 10-second breath cycle. That should look something and be about this length of time. Ready? Little pause at the top. Exhale. Little pause at the bottom. That's so yummy. I already feel a little bit better. So, why is this important? Well, for a couple reasons. So, I've already talked to you about what it can do for your body, what it can do for your mood, what it can do for your mind, what it can do for your energy levels. But, if you've watched my other videos, you know I'm probably going to end talking about a daily spiritual practice. Big surprise! Because really that's what it's all about for me. That's what this whole creative journey is all about. It's about cultivating a daily spiritual practice, one that helps me understand myself better and helps me move through the world more effectively and more creatively ultimately. So, focusing on your breath is the beginning of so many good things in that realm. And I challenge you, my challenge to you this week, I'm always going to have a challenge at the end of these videos, is to take a couple minutes every day, just a couple, literally a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Focus on your breath, use a stopwatch, focus on expanding the gut with the inhale, contracting the gut with the exhale. And guess what you're doing? If you do that every day, you're beginning a breath-focused meditation. Mindfulness, right? Like a mindfulness meditation, a breath-focused mindfulness meditation. Then if you want to go to like a Zen habit, just start counting those breaths. And then you're doing a form of Zen meditation. And doing that a couple days for a week, I bet you're going to have a little bit more clarity, a little bit more energy, a little bit more vitality. You're going to smile a little bit more often. Things aren't going to stress you out quite as much as they did. And so that's my challenge to you. Try that. Take a couple days a week and just focus on your breathing. Try to work towards getting to that 6-second breath cycle, or that 6 times per minute breath cycle. And just see how it makes you feel. I bet, though, like I said, it's going to make you feel a little bit better. So, that's my challenge. Get in touch. Social media links are all in the down below. Put a comment on the video. Let me know if you try this, if it works for you or not. But like I said, I bet I would put money on the fact that it probably will help you feel better. So, thanks for joining me. Hit the subscribe button if this is something that's helpful to you. I'm going to be trying to put these out every Friday. And let's talk, let's interact, let's hold each other accountable, let's challenge each other. If there's more information that you have that is relevant to this, put links in the comments. Get in touch on Facebook, something like that. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for joining me. Peace.
Hey everybody, it's Day of the Dead Skull here. I just wanted to say, you should definitely subscribe to Nate Creates channel, not because I think his videos are any good, but he's real sensitive and he's hard to live with if people aren't watching and liking his videos. So will you please subscribe, just for my sanity's sake? Alright, see y'all next time.